Our world is more connected now than at any other point in human history. But what if I told you that this super connected world we're all living in was actually predicted, like decades ago, long before the internet was even a thing? Let's really dig into what it means to be living in this so-called global village. Just think about a typical morning. It's maybe 8 a.m., someone posts a quick selfie with their dog, and boom, likes start flooding in from all over the planet. A kid on the school bus is video chatting with her cousin in London. I mean, before most of us have even had our first cup of coffee, we're already plugged into this massive global network. It feels totally normal, right? But it definitely wasn't always like this. Which brings up a really good question. How did we all get so close so incredibly fast? Well, to find that answer, we've actually got to travel back in time a bit. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in the 1960s. There's no internet, no smartphones. This is a time when the world felt, well, a whole lot bigger and way more spread out. And when you compare then to now, the difference is just staggering. Back then, if you wanted to talk to someone far away, you were sending snail mail that could take weeks to arrive. Calling another country, that was a huge deal and super expensive. For your news, you had to grab a newspaper or tune into a radio show at a specific time. The whole pace of information was just different. And yet, right in the middle of all that, this Canadian philosopher, Marshall McLuhan, makes this absolutely wild prediction. He says that new electronic technology is going to shrink the entire globe into what he called a global village. I mean, think about that. This was a time when a lot of families didn't even have a TV yet. So, what exactly is a global village? Well, what McLuhan pictured was a world where technology connects us so tightly that it feels like we all live in the same tiny town. Where news zips around instantly and we can all share experiences in real time, basically turning the whole planet into one big interconnected neighborhood. So, McLuhan had the idea, but it was going to take a massive wave of technology to actually make it happen. Let's take a look at the key steps that turned his vision into, well, our everyday life. You can see how it all unfolded right here. After McLuhan's prediction in the 60s, the pieces started falling into place. The 80s brought personal computers into our homes, but the 90s, that was the real game changer, with the public internet and mobile phones showing up. And then, finally, in the 2000s, social media came along and just wove it all together, connecting us on a scale nobody had ever seen before. And the early tech pioneers, people like Bill Gates, they saw exactly where this was going. He put it perfectly when he called the internet the new town square, that central spot where everyone in McLuhan's global village would eventually gather. So just how big is this digital town square today? Honestly, the scale of our connection is almost hard to wrap your head around, but let's try to put some numbers to it. Okay, just let this one sink in for a second. Instant communication is so widespread, it's been said that there are more mobile phones on Earth than there are toothbrushes. That one fact alone just shows you how deeply this tech is woven into our lives. Now hang on, because these next few are going to go by fast. In just the few seconds it's taking me to say this sentence, there have been over 500,000 Google searches. In that same tiny window of time, about 40 hours of brand new video just got uploaded to YouTube. And there go over 5,000 new photos posted to Instagram. The sheer volume of stuff being shared every single second of every day is just mind-blowing. For an entire generation, this constant stream of information is just normal. They're what we call digital natives. They were born into a world where this level of connection isn't a revolution, it's just the starting point. But living this close together, even digitally, isn't without its problems. Bringing everyone closer has definitely come with a price tag, and it's really important to look at the darker side of this global village. So the dream of instant connection, it's real, but so is the reality that comes with it. You know how in a small town, everybody knows your business? Well, in the global village, literally everyone can know your business, which means we have way less privacy than any generation before us. And that same speed that brings us news also brings us fake news. With so much of our personal lives online, identity theft has become a real, constant threat. And just like gossip can tear through a small town, misinformation can circle the entire globe in minutes, which makes it incredibly hard to tell what's real and what's fake. Now, the people behind a lot of these online threats are often called hackers. Basically, these are people who are incredibly skilled with computers, but they use that knowledge to break into networks for illegal reasons, like stealing the kind of personal info we were just talking about. All right, so we've seen the prophecy, how it all came true, the incredible scale of it, and the price we're paying. So where does that leave us as we look toward the future? Here's what's maybe the most fascinating part of this whole story. Marshall McLuhan, the man who predicted all of it, he passed away in 1980. He never saw a personal computer. He never saw the internet or social media. He never got to witness the world that he so accurately described.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? On one hand, he'd probably be stunned by how right he was. But what would he think about the reality of it all, with both the good and the bad?
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. We are literally living inside a prophecy that came true. What's the next one going to be? And how is it going to change our global village all over again?